Fire. It provides light in the darkness and security when there is none. But is fire our friend or our enemy? Is bursting into flames with no apparent ignition frightening to you? Well, this well-documented event is called spontaneous human combustion. And cases of spontaneous human combustion began to appear in medical reports as far back as the 17th century. Case 1. Countess de Bandi of Cesena, April 4th, 1731. As recounted by the Reverend Joseph Bianchini of Verona on April 4th of 1731 and brung to the Royal Society of London in 1745, the Countess Cornelia de Bandi, at age 62 years of age, the Reverend observed that she was doing great all day, and at supper, the dull and heavy-looking woman went to bed. 3 hours had passed, as it usually does, and her maid, after doing her prayers, fell asleep. The maid, taking notice that her mistress did not wake at her usual hour, went into the chamber and called for her. But Cornelia did not answer. Upon opening the door, the maid saw the corpse of her mistress in deplorable condition. 4 foot from the bed, there was a heap of ashes, 2 legs untouched. From the foot to the knee, with their stockings on between them, was the lady's head, whose brains, half of the back part of the skull, and the whole chin were burnt to ashes. Amongst were 3 fingers, blackened, all charred to ashes, and a greasy and stinking moisture. There in the room was observed as well. There was a soot floating in the air, and a small oil lamp on the floor was covered with ashes, but there was no oil in it. 2 candles in the candlesticks upon the table stood upright, and the cotton wick was still left untouched. There was still moisture in the air, a lot of soot, ashes on the chest and the drawers. Also, upon observation, it seems that someone had went into the kitchen and moved furnitures and utensils. The pantry, there's a piece of bread covered with the soot. And also, on the floor of the chamber, there was a thick smear with a gluish moisture that could not be taken off, and the stink spread more and more through the other chambers. It should be noted that this was an upper-class woman of good character, not a poor old creature addicted to alcohol. However, some connection with alcohol did exist. A few days after the Countess' demise, an Italian nobleman who passed through Cesena said he had heard a good authority that the Countess had a habit of washing her body in spirits of wine. When she felt like it, that was what she liked to do. And they speculated that this may have been what had happened the night of the incident. But after a great deal of speculation by the medical authorities of the time, the final opinion was that although lightning could conceivably be blamed, it was more likely that naturally internal combustion had taken place in Cornelia's body. That she had risen from her bed to cool herself, and that on her way to open the window, she had been overcome by the flames. Her body was consumed within, with no external flames producing any fire that burned any furniture. That is one of the earliest stories of the phenomena called human internal combustion.